4, 3, 2, 1.
How's it going, PC gamers? Hope you're doing well. It is the 25th of March 2012 and you are listening to episode number 70 of Ironhammers Live, your weekly PC gaming podcast being broadcast normally every Sunday at 10 PM, but today we're doing it on a Monday at 20 past 6, which is quite different. But I had to watch MLG last night, so I'm sorry guys, but I hope you get it. If you don't, it's tough. Anyhow, my name is Bobby Gooding, also known throughout the online realm as Ironhammers, and joining me, as always, is Harley Dan Knappman. How you doing, buddy? Not too well, I hear.
I've been better.
You've been better?
It's just, viral flu, God knows what, but I'll be alright.
Good.
Get this done.
I hope you'll be alright, Dan. I hope you'll be alright. I hope nothing too drastic happens to you within the next hour or so at least. Let's get this out of the way before you take any downward spirals. Yeah, is that good with you?
That's fantastic. Yeah, let's get it on.
You've been up to anything exciting this week, or just ill?
Watched the finals of the MLG last night.
Aha, good stuff, wasn't it, man? Did you get it right to the end in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I managed to. If it had gone on much longer, I don't think I would have been able to stay awake.
I was struggling myself, man.
It was pretty good.
It
really
was amazing stuff. Unfortunately, DRG Zergi from Korea couldn't take the finals, but I thought he was going to make a comeback at first, man.
It did look good.
He started off 2-1 down because of that stupid extended series rule, which I hate. It's so stupid. It makes no sense and it confuses everybody. Anybody that doesn't understand what we're talking about, if you lose a game previously to a player and then you meet them again later in the tournament, the score continues from the previous game. And it just seems silly because, I don't know, do you think it's silly, Dan?
It's a different round. It should be reset, really, shouldn't it?
You would have thought so. You would have thought so. And
the other rules they have, like the picking the maps, I think they're fine, but you know, it's like those stupid football away goal rules and stuff like that I never really understand.
Yeah.
I don't really do football, so that's probably why.
Yeah, me neither, man. StarCraft, I can go with that. But yeah, Marine King Prime took the title in the end for the second time in a row at an MLG event. So being hailed as the best player in the world right now, and I can't really argue that, to be quite honest.
I know he's proved himself twice now.
He has.
He's in the MLG.
And there's going to be 3 events in the spring season, so I can't wait.
That's what, 5 events already this year, including the spring season.
Yeah, that'll be 5. Last year there was 4 altogether, so...
it's a good season. Looking forward to seeing what comes in the summer.
Exactly. And if any of you people listening aren't into esports, you better get into it because it's the future, people.
Oh yeah,
it's the future. Anyhow, Dan, should we get on to some PC gaming news?
Yeah, well, let's do this.
Let's do that, and let's start off with a little story about Ubisoft that you found. Our lovely, friendly neighbourhood Ubisoft. What the hell are they going on about this time, man?
Well, they might have realised that perhaps we don't really like their always-on DRM.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, yeah. And so they've been looking at MMOs, which obviously kind of pirate-free, really, the way they work.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you reckon that's what they were thinking when they went always online? They're like, well, nobody pirates MMOs.
Possibly. But part of their plan involves companion gaming and more connectivity. Basically, spin-off titles and apps on your phone and social networks, all feeding into the game, much like the stuff on Mass Effect 3. And
future content and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think they were
future
talking about
content,
as well,
yeah. Making it so that people are less likely to want to pirate it because you get more out of it from playing the actual game properly with all the extra stuff.
Yeah, it basically seems like they're trying to say they want to make the games as valuable as possible for those that pay for it, and as least valuable as possible for people that pirate it. But I don't know what they're trying to get at, to be honest. I think
I know. It seems to me that perhaps the way to make the game as valuable as possible is not to spend more time and money on spin-offs and extra content for other devices, but maybe to actually put the money into the game that you're trying to sell in the first place.
yeah,
That's the way I'd go about it.
and drop the DRM.
Drop the DRM.
Make the game really, 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 really good, and
Yeah.
people will strangely buy it. Believe it or
Yeah, and
not.
put it at a fair price.
Exactly. They're all
Yeah,
things that should be taken into the equation before you start thinking about making an iPhone app.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I just don't. I think someone at Ubisoft lost it. I don't.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's like the whole company's had some kind of stroke.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just they do seem to have gone. Well, Notch did say that their practices were insane,
Mm-hmm.
and gave them a little tip that if you pirate Ubisoft games instead of buying them, they will work fine if your internet connection goes down. Which
is very, very true indeed.
yeah,
Very.
not that I'm saying you should pirate them, just don't get them.
I don't know. And then just today they've announced 3 different versions of Assassin's Creed 3.
Really?
Yeah. There's a special edition which is like the normal edition that comes with a little bonus. I'm guessing that's if you pre-order it or if you buy it soon after release.
Yeah,
Then there's one called Join or Die edition or something like that, which comes with a bunch of extra stuff. And then there's a Freedom edition that comes with like a statue and a load more extra stuff, and that comes in a steelbook, I think.
I thought you were going to say no DRM then.
No, there'll probably be DRM on all 3 versions. Even if you buy the, like, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I can imagine it's going to be about £70 or something for the
Freedom.
for the Freedom edition. It's not very free, is it? But yeah, even if you spend all that money on their games, you still get DRM, I'd imagine. It's so backwards. What are you doing, people? I don't know. Anyhow, moving on to something that does need no DRM. It would be extremely difficult to pirate a piece of hardware. Mad Cats has announced that they're now shipping their, which Dan has labelled mental in our show notes, and I've noticed as ugly in our show notes, and that's the MM07 gaming mouse. Which, do you like the look of it then, Dan, or? Is it mental in a bad mental, or a good mental, or?
It looks a bit nuts, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, basically, if anyone doesn't know, it's a kind of like it's a take on the Rat gaming mouse, which has got all those adjustable things.
Which I kind of like the look of at one point, but I'm not too sure about anymore.
No, I'll never like the look.
It's almost like Picasso's designed a mouse.
Yeah, basically, that's what it looks like, isn't it?
Like, it's like an abstract mouse.
Disjointed and sort of strange looking. But, yeah, I don't really like the look of it. But one thing I did like the look of is on the, like, thumb buttons. They've got, like, a little 4-way button thing. Did you see that?
Yeah. It's like almost like cursor keys for your thumb.
Yeah, like a little kind of joystick thing with 4-way
joystick. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
directional thing. It's all weird, man. But that looked quite funky, I guess, because then you can get 4 functions out of a single button, and you don't need like 12 buttons like that Razer. I think it's the Naga, the MMO one.
That's ridiculous.
It's got more buttons on the side than my keyboard has.
That little kind of nipple you used to get on old laptops instead of
yeah. That's what it looks like. Yeah, man.
And then it's got 4 or 5 buttons around that as well.
Yeah, so there's plenty of buttons on there.
Yeah, and it looks like a little scroll wheel for the thumb as well, above it.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't notice that. There might be.
Yeah, it looks. It's fairly pricey. I think it's going to be about $130.
Yep,
So,
and it's got an adjustable thumb rest or something as well.
yeah, and pinky rest. There's
Yeah.
two different. You can take different parts out. You can completely
Yeah,
customize it.
I think you can actually make the whole mouse shorter or longer. Like,
Yeah, and you can
depending-
change the angle for how you like to have your hand resting on it.
Yeah,
You know, if you've got weird hands and you can't find a comfortable mouse, it might be the one for you.
it might be
But,
because it's certainly weird looking.
Yeah, and a lot of the idea behind that mouse and the previous one was being able to make it fit your hand perfectly.
It
So,
was. Well, I've never tried one, so I can't really comment. All I know is it looks horrible. But talking of mice, another mouse. It's not on our notes here, but I want to mention it. It was announced kind of recently, and that was the SteelSeries Raw Sensei or Sensei Raw edition or something. And if gamers are looking for a new mouse, like I would definitely say wait until that comes out, because the SteelSeries Sensei is like being rated as one of the very, very best mice that you can get on the market at the moment. And I think it's got like you can adjust the DPI in increments of like 5 DPI or something. So it's like super customizable. It's got an awesome sensor and it's got like a screen on the bottom and stuff. But the Raw edition uh, takes out all the extra features like the screen on the bottom and the fact that you can change the lighting to any color you want out of like 15 million colors or something. It's basically got a color wheel. And it basically just makes the Sensei into like a less featured mouse, but all the core really good sensor and everything else is all still there and all the buttons are still there. But it just takes away a few of the extras, and the price of it is going to be about £50 or £60. And obviously I haven't used one yet because it's not out yet, but I would say definitely keep an eye on it if you're looking for a new mouse, because if it's got the same stuff inside it as the Sensei, then it's going to be an amazing mouse, and for what you're paying for it, it's going to be really good, I think. So yeah, keep an eye on that one, guys. But some good news for the UK.
good news.
Yeah, bad news for the UK is that Game have just gone into administration today, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't care, we've spoken about it before. Couldn't care less. I can't download my games from Game, so it doesn't bother me. But good news for the UK was during our recent budget, which is the yearly budget. I guess all countries probably have a budget. I don't know. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I pretty much think they all have a budget of some sort. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine of some sort, but it kind of announces all the different tax changes and all that kind of stuff for the year
Everything's going
ahead.
up.
Everything's going up. Cigarettes are going to cost me more. Alcohol's going to cost damn more. Yeah, but good news is that there's going to be tax breaks. Hopefully, I think there's still some sort of legislation that needs to pass for it to become definite. But they're hoping to introduce tax breaks for the UK games industry. And the wonderful George Osborne, who's a Chancellor in the UK, he's really not as wonderful as I just made him sound. He says the film and tax credit protected in our spending review helped generate over £1 billion of film production investment in the UK last year alone. Today I am announcing our intention to introduce schemes for video games, animation and high-end TV production industries. Not only will this help stop premium British TV programmes like Birdsong, which I've never heard of, being made abroad, it will also attract top international investors like Disney and HBO to make more of their premium shows in the UK. It will support our brilliant video games and animation industries too. So I'm guessing he used Birdsong as an example in his statement because he doesn't know too much about video games, but he's just kind of tagged that on the end there in the sentence. But, I don't know what Birdsong is, do you?
I've never seen it.
No, I've never even heard of it until I read that statement, so can't be too premium. But yeah, it's good news, isn't it, man?
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to help. There's a lot of companies have been moving away from the UK, going to different. I think like Canada has tax breaks for the industry, and I think some places in Europe do as well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant to keep more of our brilliant minds, especially when it comes to gaming and animation. They kind of go hand in hand, don't they? Really.
I guess they do.
Yeah, brilliant to keep more of that in our shores because we do produce some really good games over here.
And hopefully it will perhaps encourage some more people to come here, maybe new startups or other companies that are based elsewhere,
Yeah.
may move here to produce their games because ultimately it's cheaper for them to do it that way.
Yeah, and now we just need to get more people in schools being taught how to code and animate at an earlier age, and then perhaps we might have some kind of economic future.
No, they're too busy telling us that they're too busy telling us that the pyramids were made 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But did you know the erosion on the Sphinx is 10,000 years old?
Is it?
Yeah, but they can't admit that that's the case because they'll have to change the whole of the history
Yeah.
to make it fit. So yeah, it will kind of dismiss the Bible and all sorts if they did that. So
It would, wouldn't it?
it could cause a few problems. So they better just keep feeding the kids the incorrect version of history. Don't worry about making video games, kids. Just listen. Don't do your own research, and the textbook will tell you how the world really isn't. Anyhow, Nvidia released a new GPU this week, didn't they, Dan?
They did. I'm quite excited.
You're quite excited?
Yeah. Not because I'm going to buy one, because it's
Well, I was going to say, you're going to get one?
pretty damn expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 1,536 chord NVIDIA GTX 680, the new Kepler architecture.
And I think they're now saying it's the fastest single GPU in the world.
They are indeed. What I'm really excited
Which
about...
AMD were claiming not so long ago about their 79...
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Whatever it was. Yeah, it looks like they've one-upped them again.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about it because it's all going to filter down, and there's going to be obviously cheaper models coming out in the next few years, and it's kind of going to change in my mind anyway, I think it's going to change what we can expect for, the cheaper budgets. The cheaper, like 170, 200 quid cards.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's always the way, really, when a new card comes out, and then eventually the lower ones come out. And
apparently they're also considering working on a Kepler-based phone. Yeah, that could be pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, it could. The way technology is going is just crazy, man. Especially graphical technology. I mean, it just seems to be going faster than anything else. To be fair, like with the new Tegra stuff, and even the APUs from Intel and stuff with the onboard.
Yeah, it's
onboard GPUs on the CPU type. That's a lot of acronyms. But yeah, it just seems crazy what they're doing with such small things these days. I mean, even the fact that those Intel HD APU things can like play games, like they can play. Like I played StarCraft on one. It just seemed it's like, wait, I'm playing a game with on graphics. That's not supposed to happen.
And look at modern phones, the quality of some of the games on even my HTC, which is a single core phone. Dead Space looks absolutely awesome.
It does look good. It does look
and
good.
It plays really well as well.
Yeah, I just wish my phone was more powerful, man. I tried to get that Pinball Arcade. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
You should download it. It's got real pinball tables on it.
Alright.
And it looks like a really good pinball game. Like it seems really nice. So I tried to play it. You get one table for free, and then you can buy the extra tables. It's a bit like the one on the Xbox, I think, the way that works. Yeah, it looks really nice, and the fact that they're real pinball tables is just kind of cool anyway. But I downloaded it, and it runs at like about 3.5 frames per second on my phone, and pinball at 3.5 frames per second certainly doesn't work. Not many things do work at 3.5 frames per second, but pinball is one that certainly doesn't.
Sudoku, that would work.
That would probably work. That would
Solitaire.
Yeah, that could probably work too. Pinball doesn't, no. I can guarantee that, as I just experienced firsthand. So that was a bit disappointing. But from Android phones to something a little bit more interesting for us PC gamers, End of Nations Open Beta is coming in the spring, guys. Now, I played it a bit of Eurogamer, I previewed it for the website, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a free-to-play MMO, RTS, which is kind of catering for all people from newcomers to experienced RTS players, and I'm hoping it generates a bit of buzz within RTS games, because I don't know about you, Dan, but when you tell somebody that you play RTS games, they kind of look at you as if you're a bit boring, even though that's obviously
Yeah.
not the case at all. Because, I mean, they might be running around crouching behind boxes, shooting people with an AK-47, but I'm fucking blowing shit up with a whole army, man. Like,
They kind of glaze over, don't they? It's like, I don't know, like you're a carbo or something, and you're like, oh, I've just got myself a new, and it's like, oh, God, it's
basically,
turn off again.
yeah,
RTSs, oh.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's because they're used to their controller and they're just like, I can't
I think
control 2 units at once with these 4 buttons.
I think it's the S in it, the strategy part that confuses a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it probably confuses a lot of people. They don't even know what they are. I would imagine a lot of gamers these days, they probably think it's a real-time shooter. Which is probably the next thing to come. Although I guess all shooters are probably real-time.
Pretty much, yeah. You just
Yeah.
don't die when you get shot straight away. Most of them.
No, no.
What's
you
with
don't.
that whole kind of hiding behind a wall and healing? Ah,
It's magic, man. It's magic.
it's ridiculous. That's what it
The
is.
wonders of modern warfare.
Yeah.
But yeah, End of Nations open beta. It's in closed beta at the moment. I should have a key by now. Why aren't I in the closed beta? What's going on? I should be playing that shit. Unfortunately, I'm not this time, so that's a shame. But the open beta is coming spring, which I don't know about you, Dan, but looking at that window behind you, it looks quite bright outside.
It is, yeah. I keep trying to move, so it's kind of blocking it out.
It
but
looks like spring is on its way.
it is. It's definitely here. It's been really quite hot.
Yeah, it's been lovely, lovely weather here this
The
week.
surf's been great, and I haven't been able to go out. I've been sitting there looking at the webcams thinking, I want to go surfing.
Which brings us to our final news story. Dan, would you like to share it?
Yeah, Lemsip is bollocks.
This is what Dan puts on the show notes, people. That's his contribution. Well, it wasn't his only contribution. I
No.
won't make it sound that bad, but
I did 3 others.
you did.
Yeah.
Did you want to elaborate on Lemsip
well, yeah,
being bollocks, or is
I
it just not non-functional?
It's not working with whatever it is I've got at the moment. In the past, a bit of a cold, Lemsip, I feel like absolutely fine.
Are you trying to say that Lemsip needs a patch? Or it needs to be updated?
Yeah, they need an upgrade. Lemsip 2.0.
Maybe they could change the ending.
Yeah,
Lemsip.
yeah, I'm going to write and complain. See if they can make it so it doesn't have that bitter aftertaste.
Try it, man. Start a petition. It seems to be the way things go lately. But yeah, I don't know. That was a nice news story to finish up on, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
But on that note, we're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll be talking about what we've been playing this week, which is a few things. But in the meantime, I just briefly want to mention our sponsor for this week's show. So, as we usually have a sponsor of some sorts, and this week it is Audible, which of course Dan is familiar with.
I am indeed.
And I'm familiar with, and they are a great source for audiobooks, and there's all kinds of stuff on there, from kind of stand-up comedy to full novels and stuff like that, all kinds of good stuff. And as our sponsors, you can get a 14-day free trial by heading to ironhammers.org/audible. Pretty straightforward, unless you can't spell, in which it's AUDIBLE. So go and do that, guys, and we will be right back after a very quick break, so we shall see you shortly. Welcome back, people. I hope you enjoyed that horrible music once again. We've explained before where it came from and why it's there, so I shan't go into it again. But Dan, are you still alive?
Yeah, just about.
Just about. Good, good. Just keep that heart pumping for a little while, man. Keep it going. We're not quite done yet. We're not quite done yet. So I think it's time to talk about what we've been up to this week, and I'm going to kick it off with a book. Again, strange. Books keep coming up. This one is strangely a bit more video game related than the last. But while we're here, Dan, I hear you read the one that I was talking about, Stormfront by Jim Butcher, one of the Dresden Files
Yeah,
books.
really enjoying it. I haven't finished it yet. Very nearly the end. I haven't felt like it the past few days, funnily enough.
The end is quite good, man.
Yeah.
You won't have to write to him to change it or anything. But
yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Well worth a read.
definitely
Check it out.
definitely check out the Dresden Files. Nerds will love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, another book that nerds might love is Dragon Age: Stolen Throne, which is one I picked up from the library upon returning Stormfront, because I had reserved the next one in the Dresden Files series, and it hadn't been returned yet, so I was a little bit disappointed. I was going to just leave it, but of course I headed straight to the fantasy section, which has a big picture of a unicorn in my local library next to it, to obviously signifies fantasy. What else would you do? And I saw Dragon Age Stolen Throne sitting there, so I picked it up. It's a prequel to Dragon Age Origins, and I started reading it, man, and it's good, but what I will say about it is it's quite hard reading, man. Like, do you know how some books are, like, quite hard to read?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I'm obviously quite competent at reading. I don't really have a problem reading, but it kind of seems to be as though it's obviously written by, I can't remember his name now, but the same guy that wrote the stories for the other one.
I'm tempted to say David Gator, but
Uh, it will be, but it seems like it's been written kind of like a game way. Like, it kind of flits backwards and forwards between different scenes and different settings and different characters, if you know what I'm saying. So you'll be reading one thing about one story part, and then it'll kind of cross to a different, like, go in a different scenario completely, and it'll kind of go back to what's happening before. And when you're reading a book in parts and there's no visual kind of cues, it's quite difficult to really remember what the hell is going on at sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't make it bad, but yeah, you kind
There's
of need to put
one-
quite a bit of attention into it.
There is one word in that book that seems to be used far more than any other word.
What
in the
was that?
entire book. Ichor.
Really? I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
No, once it starts, the ichor is just flowing.
I'll look out for that. Sounds
It
like
might
I'll
not be
able
that
to
one.
listen-
It could possibly be the next book in the series.
Yeah,
but
there is
I
another
think it
one.
might be. It is in the. I think it's in the Stolen Throne.
We shall see about that as I progress. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. But like I say, you kind of need to put a bit of brain power into it. And my memory is fucking gone anyway, so that probably doesn't help.
I preferred the Mass Effect ones.
Yeah. From what I've heard of an audiobook of the Mass Effect one so far, I think that's true for me also. But Dan, you've been playing a couple of things. We've kind of spoken about them before, but
Yep.
a new season, I hear.
Yeah, the old F1 Championship. We finished that a few weeks back. We've just started a new one. Slightly different, more arcade championship with the guys from Gaming for the Elderly. They're 10% races, so they're like 6 laps. And we do four tracks every. It's supposed to be every other weekend, but it's not going to be for another 4 weeks. The next round. It's really good fun. We've got some new people playing. I was up in the top. I was a 4th at one point in one of the races. I was there really well.
At one point, where were you at the last point?
I ended up in 6th because I picked up a 10-second penalty.
Silly Dan.
Yeah, I know.
Were
I
you
could have
cutting
been full.
corners?
No, I accidentally shunted someone at the start because they broke far too early.
Yeah, it was obviously their fault, wasn't it? I mean,
Oh yeah. There was no need for me to slow down for that corner, and they did. And they don't have any brake lights on the car, so I couldn't tell. Well, I could. It was getting closer, but I was so
Yeah.
close that there wasn't much choice apart from to hit them
Remember
I
what
get
they
it.
said about braking distances in your driving test, Dan?
Yeah, you can't drive an F1 car 2 seconds by.
No,
Get all the dirty air and lose traction. It's horrible.
it's very true.
Which is actually in the game. It's a fantastic racing game.
And a few details about the next one have been released as well. It's
Yeah,
looking
they've
good.
announced it, and there's a trailer, isn't there? I need to have a look at that.
Yep. I'm
I love
gonna. It's not Games for Windows Live this time as well. It's gonna be Steamworks. I did get in touch with Codemasters to try and get a news story out of it, as I do, being all
Yeah.
journalistic. To try and get a comment on why they decided to drop Games for Windows. It's kind of obvious, but it would just make for a good news story, really. A bit of bait. But yeah, they said they weren't willing to comment on it at this time. But as soon as they can reveal more about the Steamworks integration and stuff, then they get in touch again. So hopefully we'll hit something in the future.
Aren't they based up in Manchester?
They're based in the UK. I don't know exactly where, to be honest.
I just had this picture of some guy getting back to you going, "That's shite."
Yeah,
That's why they got rid of it.
I don't know. The accent doesn't translate via email, unfortunately.
No.
But, yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And for the simple fact that they've dropped Games from Windows Live, I think I'll be picking it up on day one.
If my rig will run it, I'll be picking it up and racing with you. I'll be getting it on the 360 as well, because I've got to keep racing with the game for the elderly guys. Another thing I've been playing, I'll just quickly get that in, is the old Space Pirates and Zombies has had an update. There are now bounty hunters in there as well, and if you do too much in one area, then you can get a price put on your head, and these bounty hunters will come and get you. That's quite a nice dynamic to the game. I really enjoy playing it. It's quite nice to chill out to, especially if you're listening to an audiobook or something.
Yeah, it's kind of mindless in a way.
Yeah. Great fun. Obviously, it's got Toe Biscuit doing the narrative. And I think it's something at £1.70 the other day on Steam. I don't know if it's still that price, but whatever it is, it's worth picking up.
And what I think of it, talking about changes, you said, in the bounty hunters in, should have been in our news section probably, but Frozen Synapse, you remember that game, right, Dan?
Yeah, I've got it. I still haven't played it.
And they've, in a kind of retaliation and a kind of experiment to BioWare, they've changed the ending. Just to kind of see what happened, apparently. And apparently, they've like put unicorns and all kinds of crazy stuff in it, like which doesn't fit at all with the game. They've just completely messed the ending up, basically, for a brief moment in time. He's the guy from I think it's Mode 7 Games that made it. He said that it was basically just to kind of see if anyone said anything and what people said. And he was tweeting earlier about people that have been proper getting on his back about it, like saying, "Oh, I'm never going to buy your games again because you were mocking BioWare," and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I just kind of laughed at it, and I think the way he was retweeting it, he was kind of laughing at it as well, by the looks of it. But yeah, that's quite funny, man. Should have been in our news section, but I'll mention it now. But yeah, the only other thing I've been playing this week, released a week or two back on the PC, I think it came out on the consoles a while ago, and that's All Zombies Must Die, which they must. We must get rid of them all.
Yeah, well, aren't they dead to start with?
True.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a sequel to another game called Burn Zombie Burn, which some of you may have heard about.
I'm recognising a theme here.
Yeah, they're not too fond of zombies, believe it or not. But yeah, it's like a twin-stick shootery kind of thing, isometric viewpoint. It's all cartoony. The art style is really cool. And they've added quite a few new things in the new version, because in Burn Zombie Burn, it was kind of just like arena, kind of high score stuff, if you know what I'm saying. So you'd play a level, you'd try and kill all the zombies, and then you would get a score at the end of it, or after a certain amount of time. There was a few different game modes. But now they've added like a storyline to it, and it's kind of like quest-based. It's really quite interesting, actually. And the maps, whereas they were just random kind of levels before, they're all interlinked now with these gates, so you kind of pass through and you'll find yourself going back through the same areas again. Like, so you have to go, you can make one area your base, so once you've killed all the zombies in an area, you can make that your base, and there's a few different characters you can choose from with different weapons and stuff, and then you have to venture out into zones to fetch stuff and to do different things, and then you have to find your way back. And it kind of adds a whole new feeling to the game, really. There's a few other things being added in, especially like weapons and power-ups and stuff like that. But it's really like a whole lot, just because of that simple quest type stuff. And I think it's got co-op multiplayer as well, but I haven't tried that yet. It makes it really, really fun to play, man, and it's really humorous as well. The main character is obviously in this zombie outbreak, and he kind of thinks that he must be in a video game because he's like he's like a hardcore video game player, and there's a like girl in there, and she's going, oh well, maybe if you didn't play so many video games, all this, and then the zombie outbreak has obviously happened, and his video game knowledge is a huge benefit. And she's kind of, she doesn't kind of want to admit that in the storyline, and he's helping her out doing stuff, and she'll say something, and he'll say, oh yeah, that's a fetch quest, or something like that. Like, he's kind of doing it. And then he'll be asking people, he's like, going, oh, is this a video game then? Is this really a video game? And then there was one part that I was playing earlier, and there was some talking dog statue or something that had eaten a mobile phone that he was trying to get back. And he was like, oh, if you, the dog was saying, if you kill 25 burning zombies, so it will tell you, that's another thing, it will tell you to kill burning zombies, but you have to set them on fire to make them burning zombies, so you kind of have to set things up, and then you can get extra points and extra stuff for doing that. But he's like, yeah, kill 25 burning zombies and you can get a reward. He's like, or I could just blow you up and take the phone out from inside you, sort of thing. And he's like, unless the reward is some really cool new weapon. And he's like, yeah, the reward's a really cool new weapon. So it's kind of like doing this whole kind of comedic video game stuff, kind of mocking itself in a way. It's really quite good. So if you like that kind of not so serious, kind of casually type stuff, maybe give it a look. I wouldn't say it's for everybody, but yeah, I'm having good fun with it. It's good.
It sounds like a laugh.
It is a good laugh. It's a good laugh. The only thing is, it's obviously been ported from the consoles. It came out on the consoles before, I think. And there's a few little things that I've noticed that are a bit dodgy. I noticed one bug where I had to go to a bridge, and then it kind of triggered like a boss battle sort of thing. And I went to the bridge, and the boss spawned, and it killed me. And then I respawned, and then I couldn't trigger the boss thing again. Like, even after reloading the game, I just couldn't trigger it, so I had to actually start again from the beginning. But it was, I was about 10 minutes into the game at the time, or something, 15 minutes, so it wasn't so bad. And it hasn't happened again. But another thing I noticed was, switch weapon is supposed to be your scroll wheel on your mouse, and it just wouldn't work. Like, I couldn't change weapon. It was really weird. And then I remapped it to a different key, and then it worked. So it seems like the port is a little bit dodgy. Yeah, I was trying to think of something more eloquent there, but dodgy does it well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the game itself is really quite good, but the PC port is not so great. And I haven't seen any patches or anything to try and fix it yet, and it's been out for a couple of weeks, I think. So in that respect, not so great, but as a game, it's good, and I've seen no more game-breaking bugs. It happened that one time. It must have just been a certain sort of string of situations that made that bug happen that first time. And now I've remapped the change weapon button. I can actually not just use a cricket bat to kill zombies, which is fun. It makes it more fun. Yeah, and different characters have different abilities and stuff. It's all quite good. But yeah, I see another game appeared on that list there. Dan, did you type that?
Yeah, it's been there for a little while.
You didn't make any mistakes this time like you did during the break. Dan was trying to type in the document during the break just to share it with everybody, and he spelt it all wrong, and then he tried to correct it, and then it started going down to different lines and was getting all messed up. I was just giggling at him. And then I saw 2 fingers appear on the webcam. Yeah, that was during the break. What have you added now, Dan?
ACL. I've been playing Auto Club Revolution. That's gone into open beta now. So
it is. Everybody can play.
Yeah, without having to pester Bobby for a code. Not that many of you did. It's good fun. Everything's been reset, which is a shame because I had a car that I spent ages saving up for, and now it's gone.
Yeah,
but they did give me 1,500 credits, so I could just buy another one.
Yeah, I saw they did that. If you'd gotten to a certain rank or something in the closed beta, they were rewarding people, weren't they?
Yeah, so it's good fun. Unfortunately, for some reason, it kept crashing the other day. I don't know if that's because of my new monitor and it playing up with that. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it
But,
works quite well on my dual monitor setup. I think it even lets me pick which monitor I put it on.
yeah, yeah, it kept crashing for me, but that could be because my system's running really slow at the moment. I need to clean it up and upgrade it.
Yeah, it could just be a bug in the beta, which is
Could be,
kind of
but no.
allowable.
Yeah, I've been noticing other problems with other games and things, so I think it's probably my rig.
Blame Windows.
Yeah. Or Canada.
Can blame Canada. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Well, any other countries you'd like to blame before we
No,
wrap
I
this
don't want
up?
to get in any more trouble than I'm going to.
No. It's okay because we rule over Canada, so we can get away with it, I think.
Yeah.
We'll just tell the Queen. They start any funny business. We'd be like, hey, Queen, Canada did this. Let them feel your wrath.
I actually met her once.
You did? You poor sod.
Yeah. She came around to my school, had to shake her hand.
Did you? Was it cold? Was it like
It was
cold and
cold, dead
evil?
hand.
Yeah. I bet.
It was gloved, so I can really tell.
It was. See, look, they don't even want to touch us peasants. like you. I'm not going to shake hands without gloves on.
Yeah, she was a patron of my school, so she came round and opened up the new sixth form building. It was a brilliant day.
I'm sure.
Got it.
I saw her drive past in a car once.
Yeah.
It was some Jubilee thing or something.
No.
Was it? What is it? Is it getting all royal for the end of the show? Is it a Diamond Jubilee this year or something?
I think it is, yeah.
And I think it was a Golden Jubilee at the time, so it was probably 10
Yeah.
years ago now.
It was indeed.
They don't add up, because I remember it might have been even before that, because I was younger than what I was 10 years ago. I can just remember being dragged out of my school to go and line the streets while the Queen drove past in a Rolls Royce. It was fun. I got out of school for a while. She waved as she went past. Didn't get the fortunate chance to actually touch her hand like you did, Dan. So you've one-upped me there.
Sorry, dude.
And I really couldn't care. Yeah. I don't know what else to say after that. I think we should just wrap this up.
Yeah, perhaps we should plead for some iTunes reviews or something.
iTunes reviews?
Yeah,
How do you do that, Dan?
Go to iTunes and leave a review.
You do. You go to itunes.ironhammers.org and it'll redirect you straight to the iTunes Ironhammers page and you can leave a review there.
Fantastic.
You can also go to podcast.ironhammers.org for previous incarnations of the podcast. And
Yeah.
you can go to... Where else can you go, Dan? Do you know anywhere else you can go?
Well, for the show.
Oh, for all sorts.
Maybe
Maybe people might like to follow you on Twitter. Where would they go for that?
Yeah, I'm at Hardly Dan. As you
Yes.
can see below me there if you're watching.
And you
Actually,
can
no
find
one's
me
watching.
at Ironhammers on Twitter, or Facebook is facebook.com/Ironhammer5.
You're on Draw Something as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on Draw Something, although that lasted about 2 days before I was bored fucking mindless.
Yeah, I've got a bit bored with it now. I've played it for a bit and now I just so I can't be asked.
But yeah, I'm on there if you'd like to add me in. I'll never play. Ironhammers on there, believe it or not, too. Anything else?
No, I think so. If you've got any stuff that you want to send me, then please send it to me.
Sounds fair. And if you've got any emails you'd like to send the show, send them to podcast@ironhammers.org. And of course, do check out ironhammers.org for all the latest PC gaming goodness, of which I posted a review of this keyboard here just about a couple of hours ago. So check it out. And if you're listening to the audio version and you'd like to see me holding up my keyboard to a webcam because it's really interesting, you can find all previous video versions of the show by going to youtube.com/IronhammersTV, and a few other random topics that me and Dan have spoken about, and other random videos as well, all to do with PC gaming and gaming in general. So you should probably definitely subscribe to youtube.com/IronhammersTV. Do you agree, Dan?
Definitely. Probably.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely, probably, maybe. Isn't that a song or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Something
This
like
quote
that.
from Oasis.
Ah, Oasis.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you with some music that most certainly isn't Oasis, and
It's generic.
is very, very generic. So thanks for listening to everybody. Cheers as always to Dan for joining me despite his chronic illness. And we'll see you all on Sunday. Not next Sunday, because it's actually this Sunday now, because we're doing it on a Monday this week.
Yeah.
I know my days of the week, guys. See you there, 10 PM on Sunday, providing MLG doesn't announce another event within the next week.
We should be alright.
Should we put a little asterisk with subject to change? On it?
Subject to MLG.
I think they had that on the game reward cards, which was a good thing. On that
Actually, I
note,
think they're still property of game, aren't they?
they probably are still property of game. So they've got plenty of reward cards, but no copies of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.